They killed her son. She took on the system. But now, they're coming for her. Welcome back to Wealth and Wounds, the channel where we uncover stories of injustice they tried to bury. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button, because this is more than entertainment, this is truth-telling. Today, we bring you the chilling story of Jabari Peoples, a young man whose life was stolen, and a family who refused to stay silent. The night Jabari Peoples was killed was one of those evenings that seemed perfectly ordinary. His mother, Denise, remembered the smell of fried chicken filling their small kitchen, her youngest, Maya, laughing as she tried to steal a piece off the counter. Jabari, a 19-year-old with a love for basketball and dreams of becoming an architect, had promised to be home by midnight. But he never came home. Instead, Denise woke up to pounding on her front door at 3 a.m. She opened it to see two uniformed officers. "Are you Denise Peoples?" one asked, his voice flat. "Yes." "We need you to come with us. It's about your son." The words "about your son" sent a chill through her entire body. She grabbed her keys and followed them, her mind racing with panic. When she arrived at the hospital, a nurse led her into a cold room with bright fluorescent lights. And there he was. Her boy. Jabari. Lifeless. The world stopped spinning. Police claimed Jabari had been involved in an altercation with an off-duty officer named Sergeant Peter Vaughn. They said Jabari looked suspicious, that he had resisted arrest, and that Vaughn fired in self-defense. Denise couldn't believe it. Jabari? Her son who still kissed her on the cheek before leaving the house? The boy who spent his nights sketching buildings? But the newspapers ran with the story. Teen killed after struggle with off-duty officer. Police say suspect reached for weapon. Jabari wasn't a suspect. He was a victim. At Jabari's funeral, the church overflowed with mourners. Friends, neighbors, teachers, all devastated. Denise stood at the podium, voice trembling. "They called my son a suspect. He was a dreamer. They stole his life and they want us to stay quiet. But I promise you, we won't." Her words ignited something. People began asking questions. Why wasn't there body cam footage? Why was Vaughn's gun unregistered? Why was Jabari's blood alcohol level tested, but not Vaughn's? The more Denise pushed, the more resistance she met. Vaughn was hailed as a decorated officer, while her son was labeled a thug by strangers on the internet. In her closing argument, Alicia's voice shook with passion. Jabari Peoples was not a threat. He was a son, a brother, a dreamer. And today, this court has the power to show that his life mattered. The jury deliberated for 2 days. When they returned, the entire courtroom held its breath. "Guilty," the foreman said. Denise sobbed as Alicia hugged her. Vaughn was sentenced to 25 years in prison. For the first time in months, Denise felt like she could breathe. But justice has a price. 2 weeks after the verdict, Alicia received a threatening voicemail. "You think you won? This isn't over." Denise noticed strange cars parked outside her house at night. Friends warned her to lay low. Then, one evening, as she was locking her front door, she heard a whisper behind her. "You should have kept quiet." The victory in court was supposed to bring peace. Denise thought she could finally grieve. She thought she could finally sit in Jabari's room without feeling like she had to be a soldier every waking second. But justice has a price. And Denise was about to find out just how high that price was. It had been 2 weeks since Vaughn's sentencing. Denise had just finished washing the dishes when she heard a noise outside. A car door slamming, footsteps crunching on gravel. She turned off the kitchen light and peeked out the window. A black SUV sat idling across the street, its headlights off. She watched for a moment, heart pounding. Then a man stepped out, his face obscured by a hood. He didn't knock. He didn't move toward the house. He just stood there, watching. Denise's breath caught in her throat. She quietly locked the back door and called Alicia. "There's someone outside," she whispered. Alicia's voice was tense. "Stay inside. Don't answer the door. I'll call the police." But by the time officers arrived, the SUV was gone. No footprints, no trace. Just fear hanging heavy in the air. The next morning, Alicia met Denise at her kitchen table. She looked exhausted. "I think we rattled some cages," Alicia admitted, pulling a file from her bag. "This wasn't just about Vaughn. I've been digging, and there's a network here. Corrupt cops, judges, even politicians. Vaughn was just one piece. Denise stared at her. Are you saying they're still after us? Alicia hesitated, then nodded. They want us to stop digging, and they're willing to scare you into silence. Denise's hands trembled as she poured coffee. Jabari deserves the truth. I'm not stopping. That night, Denise woke to the sound of glass shattering. She grabbed the baseball bat by her bed and crept downstairs. The front window was smashed. Footsteps echoed through her living room. Who's there? She shouted. Silence. Then, a shadow moved. Denise swung the bat with all her strength, hitting something solid. The intruder groaned and stumbled back, fleeing through the broken window. Her heart pounded as she grabbed her phone to call the police. When officers arrived, they found a threatening note on her kitchen table. Stop or you're next. Alicia wasn't surprised. They're trying to scare us into submission, she said, pacing her small office. But I'm not backing down. I've been digging through Vaughn's old case files. There's a pattern of cover-ups. And if I can connect him to other incidents, we can take down the entire network. Denise nodded. Do it. Jabari deserves it. Alicia hesitated, lowering her voice. But we'll need protection. I have a friend who used to work in law enforcement. I trust him. That night, Alicia introduced Denise to Marcus Rivera, a former detective turned private investigator. He was tall, calm, and carried himself like a man who'd seen too much. Vaughn wasn't working alone, Marcus said, flipping through photos of suspicious officers and city officials. This goes higher than anyone wants to admit. If you're in, Denise, you're going to be in danger. Denise didn't flinch. They already killed my son. What else can they take from me? Marcus nodded. Then we'll fight. Over the next few weeks, Marcus taught Denise how to spot a tail, how to change her routes, and how to secure her home. Meanwhile, Alicia uncovered shocking evidence. Vaughn had been connected to 3 other suspicious shootings, all young black men, all swept under the rug. And every case had ties to the same district attorney who refused to prosecute Vaughn until the public outcry. Alicia knew she had enough to blow the story wide open. Alicia arranged to meet with an investigative journalist named Samantha Chen. They met in a quiet coffee shop, Alicia sliding a flash drive across the table. This has everything, Alicia whispered. Vaughn's records, police memos, emails. Publish it. Samantha glanced around nervously. You realize this could ruin careers, right? Alicia's eyes hardened. Good. That night, Denise left Alicia's office and started the drive home. As she turned onto a quiet street, headlights flared in her rearview mirror. A black SUV. Her pulse quickened. She turned down another street. The SUV followed. She sped up. So did they. Panic surged through her veins. She made a sharp turn, tires screeching, heart pounding. Suddenly, a truck pulled out from a side street, blocking her path. She slammed the brakes, and the SUV stopped behind her. 2 men stepped out. Denise locked her doors and grabbed her phone. Her hand shook as she dialed Marcus's number. Stay calm, Marcus said. Where are you? I don't know, she sobbed. Stay on the line. I'm coming. The men approached her car. One of them tapped on her window, smiling coldly. Evening, he said. You should have stayed quiet. Just as the man reached for her door handle, headlights flooded the street. Marcus's SUV screeched to a stop behind them. He jumped out, gun drawn. Step away from the car. Marcus barked. The men froze for a moment, then bolted back to their SUV and sped off. Denise sat in her car, trembling, tears streaming down her face. Marcus knelt by her door. You're safe now. But this just got real. The next morning, Samantha Chen published the story. The headline read, Corruption Exposed. Officer Vaughn linked to network of cover-ups. The article spread like wildfire. Protests erupted. Politicians scrambled to distance themselves. But Alicia knew this wasn't over. They'll come after us harder now, she told Denise. Denise nodded, clutching Jabari's photo. Let them. We are not stopping. Late that night, Denise's phone rang. She answered, expecting Marcus or Alicia. But it wasn't them. A deep, distorted voice said, You've made a mistake. If you want to live, disappear. Then the line went dead. The next day, Denise went to her job at the community center. She noticed a black SUV parked across the street. She tried to ignore it, telling herself Marcus was being paranoid. But when she left work that evening, the SUV was still there. As she approached her car, she felt a presence behind her. "Denise Peoples," a man's voice asked. She turned. A man in a ski mask grabbed her arm. Before she could scream, everything went black. Denise fought for her son's justice, but now her life is in danger. Who kidnapped her? And will Alicia and Marcus find her before it's too late? Comment your theories, share this video, and subscribe to Wealth and Wounds for part 2 because this fight is far from over.